Hello, everybody. How we doing? Welcome to Book Club Week 2. Jess, Mrs. Lazy, Miss Traveler, Y-Tram, Miss Edits, The Winter Soldier. Oh, it's her birthday. Happy birthday. Piggy's sick. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, you're watching Prisoner of Azkaban? Well, it's raining outside where I am right now, so I'm getting Prisoner of Azkaban vibes for sure. Did anyone read chapters 6 through 10 of Philosopher's Stone? Let me know in the chat if you read it this week. And if you didn't, it's all good. I've got 3 pages worth of fun notes that I was taking that I'm excited to talk about. Oh, you read? There we go. I love it. Hamna, did you have a favorite part of these 5 chapters? Pureblood Gryffindor. There we go. I love it. Pureblood Gryffindor. You're a Weasley. POX, is that Prisoner of Azkaban or Miss Edits? Hamna, did you have a favorite part or Peeves was awesome in these chapters, by the way. Peeves had a lot of great parts. So one of my favorite Peeves moments was when Malfoy and Harry had the midnight duel, and Peeves caught Harry, Ron, and Hermione going in the corridors at night, and Peeves was like yelling out for Filch. She was like, "Oh, first years in the corridors, first years in the corridors," and Harry, Hermione, and Ron were just like screwed. And then all of a sudden, when Filch gets there, you're like, oh, like Peeves is trying to get like the kids in trouble, and like Filch gets there, and then right when Filch gets there, like Peeves is like, oh, like there's no one here, like I'm not going to say anything. So like Peeves is all about chaos. Like he sees the first years in the corridors, he wants them to get in trouble, and then all of a sudden, when Filch gets there, then he messes with Filch. So like he's just like all about chaos. So that was, yeah. I love that. But so one of the first things that I noticed is Trevor. So Neville lost Trevor on the platform going to Hogwarts on platform 9 3/4. So he didn't have him before entering the train, and so I think that it would be cool to see like Trevor's wild adventure, like him getting onto the Hogwarts Express, him going throughout the like all the different compartments at the Hogwarts Express, like what conversations did he hear, like who did he see, and then somehow he got from the Hogwarts Express to the boats, and then he went on the boats like by himself, like whose boat was he in, and then because all of a sudden Hagrid finds him in one of the boats when they arrive at Hogwarts. So I think a fun like fan fiction or a fun like fan made movie would be like Trevor's adventure to Hogwarts. Like how did he get from platform 9 3/4 onto the train through Hogsmeade or whatever onto one of the boats and then eventually to Hogwarts? I think that'd be pretty. It'd be like a cool perspective thing. Like I never thought of that. Like Trevor made his way on his own to Hogwarts, and I think that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah. And then when Harry and Ron are on the Hogwarts Express, I thought a funny moment was, so Harry's telling Ron that he only learned that he was a wizard a month ago, and that he had no idea about anything in the wizarding world. He was like, "Oh, Hagrid just came and told me I was a wizard like a month ago. I had no idea what anything was." And then and Ron, so like Harry's telling him that whole backstory, and then Ron was just like, "Oh, like do you have who's your Quidditch team?" And like Harry was just like, "I don't have one." And Ron was like, "What? Like you don't have a Quidditch team? Like what? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard." And it's just like, Ron, this guy just told you that he found out about the wizarding world and being a wizard a month ago, and you're like in complete shock that he doesn't have a Quidditch team. Like I thought that was pretty funny. Trevor is also an animagus, like Scabbers. I wonder who his animagus would have been. Peeves did have a great song after Voldemort died. What up, Shrey? How you doing? Is anyone else sick? I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bit of a sore throat. I woke up a couple days with a sore throat, but it hasn't been too bad. Oh, Jorquat, yeah. Thank you for sending me that email back. Also another moment on the Hogwarts Express is when Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle come into Harry and Ron's compartment, and it's when Malfoy like offers his like hand in friendship to Harry, and he's basically just like, and he's like, hey, like you don't want to be making friends with the wrong sort, like talking about Ron. And so Malfoy's like, you don't want to be making friends with the wrong sort. And Harry's like, oh, I think I could tell the wrong sort for myself. Thank you very much. And from Harry saying that, Malfoy goes to, careful, Potter, or you're going to end up the way your parents did. And it's just like, that went from like 0 to like 400 real quick. Like Malfoy was just like, hey, like, you want to be friends? Like, don't be making friends with the wrong crowd. And Harry was literally just like, I think I can tell the wrong crowd for myself. And Malfoy's response to that was, be careful or you're going to end up like your dead parents. It was just like, Malfoy, like that is, geez, that is 1 to a million real quick. Are there any Malfoy fans in the chat right now? Do we like Malfoy or do we not like Malfoy? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Slay. The sorting ceremony. Oh, you're studying while you're watching? I love it. All right, here's a poll that I'm going to put up in the chat right now. This is what I was thinking about while I was reading. It's who do you like more, Fang or Hedwig? That's a tough one for me, so. Let's get that poll in there. All right, boom, polls up. Let's see, who do we like more, Fang or Hedwig? Because Fang doesn't get enough credit for what he does. Like, I feel like Hedwig is like more talked about with the fandom, like low key, just because she died in the Deathly Hollows. Like, I feel like Hedwig gets like a lot of talk for that because it was like a super sad death. But like when you're reading the series over again, like you really forget like how much of a vibe Fang is. Like Fang's awesome. Hedwig 81%. Oh, Jesse, like Draco. Oh, it's your birthday in 2 weeks and 21 days? That's awesome. No, I'm not reading the books out loud. So what we do is everyone individually reads them during the week. And then on Saturday or Sunday morning, we just have a discussion about like our favorite parts or things we didn't notice before, or interesting parts in those chapters. So I'm not reading the book aloud. And so you can read them during the week if you want to. If you don't want to and you just want to join in on the chat, then that's awesome too. But that's basically what we do is we read 5 chapters a week and then have a discussion at the end of the week. 77% for Hedwig. So anyone voting for Hedwig, what's your favorite Hedwig moment in this series? And anyone voting for Fang, what's your favorite Fang moment in this series? Why did Hagrid name a 3-headed dog Fluffy? Yeah, that is interesting. That is actually, Fluffy is like the big 3-headed dog, and then Fang is just like the little chiller. You read them. Oh, you memorized the books. Good for you. Yeah, Fang. Fang is just like a chill. You know when Fang's in a scene that he's just gonna be. It's gonna be a chill vibe. Okay, and so when they arrived at Hogwarts and they're Harry and Ron and the rest of the first years are outside of the Great Hall, they're waiting for the sorting ceremony. How did Ron not know what the sorting ceremony is? Or like, so him and Harry are like, what do you think it is? And like Ron's like, oh, I don't know. Like Fred and George like said like we might have to like battle a troll, or like and like Harry's like, oh, we might have to like pull a rabbit out of a hat. And it's like, how did Ron, like the sorting ceremony isn't like isn't some like secret crazy thing or whatever, like for the rest of the series, for like the epilogue and everything, like all Harry's kids knew what the sorting ceremony was. And like when Harry's kid asks Harry's like, what if I'm in, like what if I get sorted into Slytherin or whatever, it seemed like they all knew. And so Ron had 5 older brothers, and he grew up in the wizarding world, but he didn't know what the sorting ceremony was. Like that didn't really make sense to me. Ron just being Ron, maybe that's true. Ron was more of a fool in the movies for sure. Ron had a brain fart. Ron is just being, yep, Ron's just being a Weasley. 83% for Hedwig. Who voted for Fang? Who in the chat voted for Fang? I want to know. Because I like Fang. 81% Hedwig. Would you like to participate in my editing competition? Sure. What's your editing competition? Maybe Ron was busy eating food. Yeah. Ron at a feast was hilarious. Ron would be me at a feast so easily, just eating everything. Oh, you picked Hedwig? And yeah, sorry if I cough also, by the way. I've had a bit of a sore throat. But another thing that I noticed is when they're in the entrance hall waiting for the sorting ceremony, nearly headless Nick and the Fat Friar fly through, and they're having a conversation about Peeves, and the conversation is, I don't know if it happened with you, but I was kind of thinking about a conversation that would happen between the Hogwarts founders. And so nearly headless Nick would be Godric Gryffindor, the Fat Friar would be Helga Hufflepuff, and then they're talking about Peeves, who would be Salazar Slytherin, because the Fat Friar says, forgive and forget, I say, like as a Hufflepuff would, like forgive Peeves, like forgive and forget, like, but then nearly headless Nick would be like Godric Gryffindor when he says like, how many times can we forgive Peeves though? Like he's been messing up like all the time. He's been like, how many times can we forgive him? And so they were saying that about Peeves, like messing around before the feast. And for me, it reminded me of like a conversation that Helga Hufflepuff and Godric Gryffindor would have about Salazar Slytherin when they were trying to decide, should we kick Salazar Slytherin out? Should we keep him? Like he's been messing up a lot. And Hufflepuff was like, forgive and forget. And then Godric Gryffindor, being nearly headless Nick, was just like, oh, like how many times could we forgive and forget? Should we kick him out? I don't know if any of you guys like, I don't know if that has any credence at all, but I kind of thought that. Like, does that make any sense to anyone? Did anyone else maybe? Oh, you got a video idea? I've seen Peeves in here. Yeah, I've seen Peeves. I've seen Peeves in Hogwarts Legacy. Seen him around a bunch. Okay, here's another question. During the sorting ceremony, so it took. J.K. distinctly said that it took a full minute for Seamus to be sorted. So, what other house do you think the Sorting Hat was choosing between for Seamus Finnegan? Because J.K. specifically said for him that it took a full minute for Seamus to get sorted. So, what house do you think that the Sorting Hat was deciding between, and why? Slytherin? Why do you think Slytherin, Pureblood? Slytherin? Everyone's saying Slytherin. Viv, Miss Traveler, Shrey, Jake's Lover. Why do you think Hufflepuff? Slytherin, Hufflepuff, as he's stupid? I don't think he's stupid. That's harsh. Enola, Slytherin. He ratted me out for sneaking in the restriction section. Logan, Slytherin. Hufflepuff. Because he betrays easily. He does betray Harry in the Order of the Phoenix, that is true. Yeah, he betrayed his friend. That's true. That's why I think he might not be in Hufflepuff. Because he wasn't loyal, and loyalty is one of the most important traits for a Hufflepuff. Did you know this in Harry Potter? Both Nymphadora and her mother like their names to be shortened. In the Deathly Hallows, Ted Tonks calls Andromeda. Oh yeah, that is true. I mean, I actually yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, they both like their names shortened. He does fit the characteristics of Slytherin. I agree. Definitely Slytherin. He's not loyal. Yeah, he his loyalty was in question in Order of the Phoenix. That's for sure. But he did come around. But he left Harry at first, which is Happy Nav. How you doing, Mr. Ruby Malfoy? What's going on? Okay, here's another question I had. When Harry was being sorted, the sorting hat says to Harry, when he's deciding between Slytherin and Gryffindor, and Harry's saying not Slytherin, not Slytherin, and the sorting hat says that Slytherin will help Harry on his way to greatness. So in what way do you think Slytherin House would have helped Harry on his way to greatness? What do you think was meant by that? Like how would being a Slytherin help Harry like on his path to greatness? Like what about Slytherin House would have done that? Did you know it's Slytherin Pride Day on the 25th of March? That's awesome. Ambition. They're cunning and ambitious. That's true. Yeah. Like how would being in Slytherin House have helped Harry? Like maybe he would have found something about like Tom Riddle's Horcruxes or something like a little faster. Or so um, the question was when Harry's getting sorted, the Sorting Hat says when Harry says not Slytherin, not Slytherin, the Sorting Hat says, "Are you sure about that? Because Slytherin can help you on your way to greatness." So I was wondering, what do you think? What do you think the Sorting Hat meant by that? Like, how would being in Slytherin House have helped Harry on his way to greatness more than being in Gryffindor? Viv1X, how you doing? You are acknowledged. Squishmallow, how you doing? Great ancestors, Abhinav. And another thing that I noticed is it would have made him develop his right brain in a cunning way, because he would have grown up with the Slytherins who are mostly Death Eaters, and they'd be fond of him in Chamber of Secrets, and I think he may have heard Draco. Yeah, that would have been what. Yeah, that's an interesting question. If Harry was sorted into Slytherin, like Crabbe, Goyle, Malfoy, not all of their parents, all the parents in Harry's class in Slytherin were all Death Eaters. So if Harry was sorted into Slytherin and was actually like friends with Malfoy and them, like would they have liked Harry? Because all their parents were Death Eaters. Voldemort like was after Harry. Like how would that have gone down if Harry was in Slytherin with a bunch of like Death Eaters kids? He could have had friends that pushed him to be more ambitious, which would have helped him find the Horcruxes faster. Also, Harry finding like all of Voldemort's Horcruxes within a year is just wildness. Found out about him in Half-Blood Prince is just like, give me a summer and I'll find these. What if the Golden Trio all got sorted in Slytherin? I have an argument that Ron should be in Slytherin. My argument for Ron being in Slytherin is that in the mirror, and when he looked into the mirror of Erised, all he saw was him being prefect, head boy, captain of the Quidditch team. Like, the only things that he saw were ambitious things for himself. So my argument, honestly, that is that Ron's deepest desires of his heart, it was all self-motivated and ambitious for himself. So I was like, I think Ron should be in Slytherin, to be honest. One of us is an imposter. Ooh, Polyjuice Potion. Ron is mean. Like to get the tea with the rest. Ron is the coolest. Yeah, are we Ron fans out there? Do we like Ron or do we not like Ron? He's got his moments for sure. Who picked Fang? Yeah, 82% of people have voted for Hedwig over Fang. And here's another interesting point, is during the feast, so all the food appears on the table, and like Harry's like, oh, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's everything you could ever want. But the one thing that Harry doesn't eat is peppermints. He says, and there was a bunch of peppermints on the table, and he was like, and he didn't go for that. So the one thing that Harry didn't go for was peppermints. And I was just like, why would that specifically be brought up? Why even just say oh, there's peppermints, which he didn't want to go for, but everything else he ate. And so I was wondering, is there another point in the series where Harry's dislike for peppermints comes back up? Like, is that like a key thing in like some moment in Goblet of Fire or Half-Blood Prince? Like, I was like, why was that specifically just said that he doesn't like peppermints? I was like, this has to be like deeper than just that. I know, what's wrong with peppermints? That's what I was saying. Oh yeah, the kitchen below the Great Hall, where the house elves are at. Oh, you hate peppermints? They made Ron look like a coward in the movies? Yeah, they did. They definitely gave a lot of Ron's great moments to Hermione. Fred and George used to steal food from the kitchens, yeah. Percy should have been... So there's another, yeah. So Percy, I have some things to say about Percy for sure. So, here's something else that I noticed is during the feast, Harry and Nearly Headless Nick are talking. Oh, where's Professor McGonagall from before the channel name change? Oh, Professor McGonagall. I have no idea. Is she not in the stream? Christmas with the candy canes. So something else that I noticed is that during the feast, Nearly Headless Nick and Harry are talking, and Harry asks Nearly Headless Nick why the Bloody Baron is all covered in blood, and Nearly Headless Nick says, "Oh, I don't know, and nor have I ever asked the Bloody Baron like how he got covered in blood." And I was kind of thinking like, what else do Nearly Headless Nick and like the Bloody Baron talk about? Like, so they've been at Hogwarts for like 400 years, and they're ghosts, and like ghosts have like a fascination with like death and like how they died and stuff. So how has Nearly Headless Nick never asked the Bloody Baron how he died? Like, what else do they talk about? Like, Nearly Headless Nick was, he said that he's never asked the Bloody Baron why he's so covered in blood. And I was just like thinking like, how have you not asked him that? Like, how have you guys never talked about that in the 400 years that you guys have known each other? They don't talk because of their house rivalry, yeah. And Nearly Headless Nick was low-key scared of the Bloody Baron. He killed Rowena. Yeah, that's why he was covered in blood. But I just thought it was interesting. Like, I thought that Ghost would have talked about, like, Nearly Headless Nick tells everyone that, like, how he died and that he was hacked with a hammer, like, 45 times or whatever. Was it mentioned in the Slytherin Special Edition how he died? Yeah, so So nearly headless, or so the Bloody Baron committed suicide after he killed the Grey Lady, who was Rowena Ravenclaw's daughter. Why am I being ignored? A philosopher is a person who teaches that. How can you even mix that with philosopher? Yeah. Oh, Kevin. It's my name too. Yeah, people are like philosopher, sorcerer. I'm gonna put that poll in the chat. I'm gonna put that poll in the chat right now. Would you prefer sorcerer's stone or sorcerer's stone or philosopher's stone? Which do you prefer? Let's see. Let's see how the chat votes. I saw on TikTok that Draco loved Hermione but didn't know how to confess his love for her, and JK confirmed it. I don't know if JK confirmed that. A lot of why do people why does everyone want to stan Hermione and Draco? I've never understood that. Like, they absolutely hate each other. Oh, so something else that I noticed is that Seamus Finnegan's dad just like hit the lottery. So when they're at the feast on the first night, Seamus is like, "Oh, my mom's a wizard, but my mom's a witch, but my dad's a muggle." And his dad only found out that his wife was magical after they got married. And I was like, that would be like hitting the lottery. Like, imagine getting married to someone and then finding out that they can do magic. Like, the rest of your life is going to be a breeze. Like, the house can be automatically cleaned up. Like, you can summon anything with magic. Imagine you're just like a regular muggle, and then all of a sudden you get married and you figure out that the person you got married to can do magic, and like all your life's problems are just solved. So I was just thinking, like, Seamus's dad hit the absolute lottery. Lulu, you got cookies? 71% prefer philosophers. Okay, so here's another question that I thought about. So this is also happening during the opening feast. So Harry's scar hurts whenever Voldemort feels a very strong emotion, whether Voldemort's angry, happy. Whenever Voldemort feels a strong emotion, Harry's scar hurts. And so in the opening feast, Harry's scar burns when Snape is talking to Professor Quirrell. So I was wondering, do you think Snape said something that like made Voldemort angry? Because Voldemort's on the back of Professor Quirrell's head, and Harry's scar hurts when Snape is talking to Professor Quirrell. So do you think Snape said something that like made Voldemort like angry or like made him happy? Like, what do you think? What do you think Snape was saying to Professor Quirrell to make Voldemort like feel like an emotion, a strong emotion or whatever? You know, because that's what I was thinking. Because like, do you think like Snape was saying something like, "Oh, like yeah, I used to be a Death Eater, but like the Death Eaters are like the worst. Like Voldemort's like bad guy, like kind of thing." And like Voldemort's on the back of Quirrell's head, just like, "Ah, Snape." Why'd I change my name? I felt like my name, my Half-Blood University, worked better with like our house cup. He was probably still whining about Lily, so Voldy got annoyed. Yeah. Voldemort's nose will grow back. Stop looking at me. Snape's the best. Yeah. There are Snape stans, and there are definitely people who hate Snape. Yeah, but I thought that was interesting because Quirrell and Snape were talking to each other, and obviously in the book, like they're trying to make you think that Snape's the bad guy. So when Harry looks at Snape for the first time, like it says like, oh, Harry's scar hurt, and you're made to think that like, oh, it's because of Snape, but it's Harry's scar hurts whenever Voldemort hears or feels a strong emotion. So I was like, oh, was Snape saying something to Quirrell that made Voldemort angry or something? Thought that was interesting. Bye, White Tram. Thanks for coming in. Oh, you used to have a crush on Snape? Interesting. So something else that I noticed is that Percy says that Snape, everyone knows that Snape's after Quirrell's job. So Snape is after the defense against the dark arts job, and Percy's like, everyone knows that. He's been after Quirrell's job for years. But my question was, how did everyone know that? Like Snape doesn't talk about his emotions or like his feelings or like what he wants to anyone. So how did everyone know that Snape wanted the defense against the dark arts job? Like he's not like going around like, oh, like I really want that job. Like Snape doesn't tell anyone anything. So how did everyone know that? Percy should have been in Slytherin, yeah. Unless you read the book, you don't know how truly evil Voldemort is. I personally think Harry should be in Gryffindor because he risks his life many times. Yeah, that's true. 67% for a Philosopher's Stone. It's obvious. How is it obvious? Oh, you used to have a crush on Nymphadora? I still have a crush on Nymphadora, to be honest. I would love to marry Nymphadora. Maybe the scar also tells him Voldemort is present. But then, so that's interesting, Party Pete. So you said maybe the scar also tells him when Voldemort is present, but the only reason I don't think that's the case is because then Harry's scar would have just been hurting 24/7 when he was at Hogwarts. Like I think Voldemort was feeling like a strong emotion in that moment because all of a sudden Harry's scar hurt, like just for that like split second or whatever. It wasn't just hurting constantly when Harry was there. Also, shouts out to how Hogwarts looks right now. The colors, the vibes are awesome. Maybe I used to serve the Dark Lord, but now I don't, and I serve Dumbledore. There we go, Enola. I guess Dumbledore let it spill. Do you think Snape knew that Voldemort was in the back of the head? No, I don't think he knew that, because if he knew that, then they would have like gone after Quirrell, which is also interesting because in Deathly Hallows, when in Snape's memories, Dumbledore, there's a memory of Snape and Dumbledore during the Philosopher's Stone like timeline, and Dumbledore's like, oh yeah, keep an eye on Professor Quirrell, by the way, like Dumbledore being suspicious of him. And it's like, Dumbledore, if you're suspicious of a teacher, like at a school full of students, like kids and stuff, if you're suspicious, why don't you question him, or why don't you look into it more? Like Dumbledore was just like, oh yeah, like keep an eye on Professor Quirrell for me. Like I'm getting a funny feeling from that guy. But he doesn't do anything about it. He's just like, keep an eye on him. Mr. Malfoy, how you doing? Oh yeah. So something else that was that I thought was interesting was that in Dumbledore's opening speech, like he's saying all the rules. He says you can't go in the Forbidden Forest, you can't go in the third floor corridor, and he's saying all the rules of Hogwarts. And one of the rules that I forgot about is Dumbledore says that you're not allowed to use magic outside of the classroom. So he said that that you're not allowed to use magic outside of the classroom and like outside of classes. And I was just like, that's such a BS rule. Like I could see why they would have that for first years and whatever, but like if you're a fifth year or sixth year or seventh year or fourth year, like you're not allowed at Hogwarts. You're not allowed to use magic in the corridors. Like I thought that was an awful rule. This is off topic, but when are you streaming the Harry Potter Legacy game again? Maybe tomorrow. Do you like fanfics where Lucius has sisters? Sure, that sounds interesting. What's BS? So I thought that rule was BS that you can't use magic in the corridors outside of classes. Like the only time at Hogwarts that you're allowed to do magic is in class. Like I thought that rule's like BS for anyone who isn't a first year. For first years, I can get it because they like might be like messing stuff up. But if you're a fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh year, like you should be allowed to use magic in the corridors. It shouldn't be against the rules to do that. Like, what's the point, like, of being at Hogwarts if you can't do magic? Like, you can't do magic at home, you can't do magic in the corridors. Try and stop me using it because one of my top five favorite characters, well, my favorite character is Sirius Black. Here's another question that I have. So Percy says that the Bloody Baron is the only person that Peeves listens to. So when Percy's bringing the first years back to the Gryffindor common room, Percy says they run into Peeves, and Percy says to Peeves, he's like, "Hey, Peeves, like f off, or I'm going to get the Bloody Baron on you." And Peeves is like, "Okay, okay." So like, why do you think that the Bloody Baron is the one person that Peeves will listen to, or the one person that scares Peeves? Because a ghost can't do anything. Like, it's not like the Bloody Baron can bring out his sword and like fight Peeves. Ghosts can't touch you or like anything. So why was Peeves scared of the Bloody Baron? That the instant kill because Peeves knew he killed Helena. Maybe he did. But why would Peeves be scared of the Bloody Baron? The Bloody Baron can't do anything to him. He's a ghost. I just thought that was interesting. It's not like the Bloody Baron can hit Peeves or put him in a headlock or something. Do you like Romini or Hermione? I would prefer Romini over Hermione. Harry and Hermione were just friends, but Ron and Hermione actually romantically liked each other, so I prefer that. Maybe some other history. Yeah, they definitely have history for. I was just wondering what that was. Like, why is Peeves? Like, did they know each other in the Bloody Baron's actual life? Like, why is the Bloody Baron the only person that Peeves is scared of when ghosts can't do anything to anyone? I'd be scared of a ghost who murdered someone. Yeah, yeah, Jess, you are right about that. I would be scared of a ghost too. He's scared of blood. That's a good point. Someone told me Lucia's sisters would be French names. Oh, with the centaurs, that's interesting. And another thing that I noticed is when Percy is showing the first years, when Percy's showing the first year Gryffindors to the common room, Percy's the only prefect. When we know that there are two prefects in the fifth year. There's a boy prefect and a girl prefect. And in Harry's year, it's Ron and Hermione. So why is Percy the only prefect that we see in his year? So it's only Percy leading the Gryffindors to the common room, and throughout the story, Percy's the only prefect. But we know that it's a girl and a boy prefect for each house. So why is it only Percy? Where's the girl prefect? We were all, yeah. I'd be scared of ghosts too. That's all. That's true. Percy should have been in Slytherin. Yeah. Not enough girls. Maybe the Basiliskator. Maybe the girl resigned because of Percy. Yeah, I would. Percy would be a lot. Let me tell you. Percy. Yeah, Percy was prefect enough for both. I'm back. I had to leave. Jixleva, good to see you again. We were also scared of ghosts, even when we can't see them, yeah. I'd be scared of ghosts too. That's true. The sorting hat is meant to portray the life of the person for that house. Gonna get more cookies? I wish I had a cookie. Yeah, but that always interests me. Like, why is Percy the only prefect? With Percy, yeah. With Percy, yeah. If I got the prefect's badge and I was just like, oh, who's the other prefect? And they're like, oh, Percy Weasley. I'd be like, never mind. I don't need this. Like, Percy, Percy is too much. He's thinking about his cauldron thickness. All right, bye, Rafat. So another moment that I liked. So this was a moment of foreshadowing that I thought was cool. On one of Harry and Ron's first days, like walking around Hogwarts, they got lost and they were trying to open the third floor corridor door, and Filch catches them. And Filch is like getting mad at them because they're opening the door that leads to Fluffy, but Harry and Ron are just lost and they have no idea. But then the book says that Quirrell comes and saves them from Filch because Quirrell was just passing by the third floor corridor door. So I thought that was a cool moment of foreshadowing that they were saying like Quirrell like is just like he's staying by the third floor corridor door because he's going and checking on Fluffy and like he's trying to figure out how to get past Fluffy. So I thought that was a cool moment of foreshadowing that Quirrell was just passing by the door because he's just hanging around there the whole time. Yeah, Quirrell is sus from the start. Yeah, I thought that was a cool moment of foreshadowing. And also another question that I had is they kept saying that Professor Quirrell's turban smelled like garlic, and I was like, why does it smell like garlic? Does Voldemort smell like garlic? Like, why was that continued to be said? They said it. They said his classroom smelled like garlic and his turban smelled like garlic. I was just like, why does Voldemort smell like garlic? Percy was the only prefect that was in the movies, I think. Yeah, so Percy was so, which is interesting because you would think in the books that they would have two prefects, but in the movies they would make Percy the only prefect. But in the books also it was Percy that was the only prefect. You would have thought that the books had it right, but the movies like made the mistake. But oh, this is your second week? Well, it's week 2, baby. So I love that. 2 weeks in a row. Evadine. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Because Voldemort didn't brush his teeth. Yeah, that's true. That's actually hilarious. Imagine Professor Quirrell brushing Voldemort's teeth like in the back of his head. Voldemort actually killed without a care. Cool point. Oh, thanks. When Harry and Ron go to fight Draco in the movies, Neville stands up to them, but in the books it's Hermione. That's a difference. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and that whole moment with the duel, with the midnight duel that Draco's like, oh, meet in the trophy room, let's have a duel. Like that's completely left out of the movies, which is kind of a shame. Um, that's why I want Harry Potter to be a TV series instead of movies, because in the movies the only scenes that are put in are scenes that like are keeping to like the main plot line at the end of the movie. Like every scene like has to be leading to the end plot line of whatever movie that it is. And so scenes like the midnight duel in the trophy room are completely left out because it's just character building. It's not leading to the end plot line. It's just how Harry, Ron, and Hermione like become closer, or like one of their adventures. And so that gets left out of the movie because they only have so much time to do anything. So something else that I noticed is that Hagrid invites Harry to tea on the first Friday of term, and in the Deathly Hollows, in the epilogue, Harry reminds his kids that Hagrid invited them to tea on the first Friday. So Hagrid invited them to tea on the first Friday of term. So Hagrid invited Harry to tea at his hut on the first Friday, and then he invites Harry's kids 19 years later to tea on the same day. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought that was a Bye Logan Reacts. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing, is that Hagrid invited Harry's kids to tea on the same day that he invited Harry, 19 years later. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, so something else that I noticed in Snape's in the first potions class, Snape mentions wormwood and wolfsbane. And wolfsbane is the potion for werewolves to so that they can keep their mind when they transform into a werewolf. And I was wondering, so he mentioned wormwood and wolfsbane, and I was wondering if that's like a reference to Wormtail and Lupin, like in his first speech. Like, do you guys think that that might have been like him referencing like Wormtail and Lupin, mentioning Wormwood and Wolfsbane in the first potions class, or do you think that's too deep? Do you think I'm thinking too deep into that, or do you think it could have been like reference to them? I'm sorry about that, Piggy. Thanks, Jorquat. Too deep though, yeah. Yeah, Jorquat. I was thinking that might be too deep, but I just thought that, like, I was just like, I'll toss it out there. Why not? Anything that I hear or like read that I think is interesting, I'm just like, why not? Just could have been a reference. Who knows? It's just what I was thinking. Yeah, it is, they also do, and that's Shrey. That's why I was thinking that, because like the whole thing is a reference to Lily. So like I was wondering if he was referencing Wormtail and Lupin as well. Like that whole speech seems like a reference to like all those characters, and like Snape and James and Lily and Sirius's time at Hogwarts. Like I think they all get referenced in there. You've been a Harry Potter fan since the first one came out in 2001 in the US, or whenever it was. That's awesome. Party Pete. Party Pete. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the chat. Thank you, Party Pete. What's the rules? I'll do it. What rules? There are no rules except for have a good time and be nice to everyone. I love centaurs. Yes, pureblood Gryffindor. Centaurs are my favorite characters, and they're so undervalued. I would I would literally watch a whole show just about like the history of centaurs and like their life in the Forbidden Forest. Like I think centaurs are such an untapped like part of the Harry Potter universe. The way that they can read the stars and like see the future and like all the knowledge that they have. I feel like a TV series like about Centaur's life in the Forbidden Forest would be so cool. Would you guys watch that show? Would you guys watch a show about like centaurs' lives in the Forbidden Forest? Oh, I gotta touch the screen to make sure it doesn't turn off. You can make a video on centaurs. I should do that. Yo, you wouldn't watch it, Lulu? Yes, Angelica, you'd watch it. TV show The Potter Chronicles. I wish, Kevin. I wish. Oh, Neville Longbottom Simp. How you doing? What's your favorite Neville moment? Neville Longbottom Simp, besides killing Nagini, because it's like the main moment. Dre. No, I prefer Nifflers or mermaids. Nifflers are hilarious. Mermaids are interesting too, that's for sure. You'd watch it. Shreymac, you'd watch it. Jess, you'd watch it. Yeah, Pureblood Gryffindor. I wish there was a show about the Marauders as well. If you had Umbridge getting killed, but the Centaurs didn't kill Umbridge. I thought they were. I thought they were going to, but Dumbledore went in and saved her life. What's my name? Kevin. My name is Kevin. When are you announcing the House Cup results? So I'm going to announce that I have an update to the House Cup coming out. I'm going to announce that tomorrow. Is anyone here doing the House Cup? The Chicken Whisperer. I would love some chicken right now. So another moment of foreshadowing is in Harry's first potions class. He mentions Bezoars, and he says that Bezoars will protect you from most poisons. And then Harry uses a Bezoar in his sixth year to win the Felix Felicis. Chicken. I would love to have some KFC right now. So something else that I noticed is that when they're at Hagrid's hut, Hagrid says that whenever he goes to Hogwarts, Filch has Mrs. Norris tail him. So whenever Hagrid goes into Hogwarts, Filch has Mrs. Norris follow him wherever he goes. And I was wondering, why does Filch not trust Hagrid? Like, why does Filch have Mrs. Norris track Hagrid wherever he goes? Do you like? I like to see more of Snape's histories with his parents. Yeah, same here. It's been a rough. Yeah, Snape did have a rough upbringing, that's for sure. Hagrid's hut changed places in the movies. Yep, that's true. What did you miss? What did you miss that wasn't in the movies that really gets on your nerves? To be honest, I think memories. I think memories in the movies were. I didn't like how they were done in the movies. So in the books, whenever they go into the pensive and Harry goes and sees memories of whether it's Bellatrix Lestrange, when she's when she's in trial, or if it's Tom Riddle's memories, or anyone's memories. In the books, they're so detailed and it's so cool to see those scenes from years before. But in the movies, they're like short little reels. It's not like a full scene at all. So I wish the memories were like actual scenes and actual discussions and not just like little clips. Because Filch is a nut. He is a nut. Because Dumbledore likes Hagrid more. Yeah. So when I was reading that, I was wondering, does Filch have Mrs. Norris track Hagrid? Because do you think that's in reference to Hagrid being expelled for opening the Chamber of Secrets, and that's why Filch doesn't trust Hagrid? Do you think Hagrid was saying that? Do you think J.K. Rowling put that line in as a moment of foreshadowing that Hagrid kind of has a bad reputation because people thought he opened the Chamber of Secrets? I hate how there's a different director for every film. Yeah, it, that's true. I wish Chris Columbus stayed on. He was awesome with the first two movies. Makes sense? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe it's like a moment of foreshadowing to Hagrid, people thinking that Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets, and that's why Filch doesn't trust Hagrid. Yeah. Also, another thing that I was thinking is that it's kind of strange to think that Hagrid was an adult at Hogwarts while James, Lily, and Sirius and Snape were all kids. Like Hagrid was an adult being the keeper of keys at Hogwarts when Lily, James, Sirius, Snape were all 11 years old when they were all first years. Because like normally in the movies for some reason, like I think of Hagrid as the same age as like Snape and Sirius and James and Lily. But when they were all like 11-year-old first years, Hagrid was an adult like at Hogwarts while they were all going through their Hogwarts years. But for some reason, I think of them as the same age, but they're totally not at all. Yeah, Stray, you too. Hi, Angelica. So, does anyone else? Does anyone have like a favorite moment from them reading these chapters? I know I'm saying a lot of like what I noticed. So, like, does anyone have a part from these chapters that they liked in particular? I don't want to be the only one saying my. Oh, you're Ravenclaw. I'm a Hufflepuff. Because it's Finch. The Fred and George moments, yeah, they're the best. Hagrid was a teen, just really big because of his giant blood. Yeah, he was always big. Hagrid was always big because of his giant's blood. Hi, Angelica. Does Filch carry the thing from his car? It's like, oh wait, something else that I noticed. Um, Congrats on 63K subscribers. Thank you very much, Shortquat. Thank you. Oh, your favorite's the sorting ceremony, Angelica? Mrs. Weasley raging? Yeah, Chamber of Secrets. Oh, what's your theory, Autumn? So one of my another moment that I really liked is during their first flying lesson when Neville like goes on the broom and he's like going wild and like he breaks his wrist. In the movies, the broom stays on the ground, but in the books, Neville's broom goes on its own into the Forbidden Forest. So like when Neville's getting taken to the hospital wing, his broom flies off on its own and goes into the Forbidden Forest. So I was thinking like the next year, the Weasley's car has a mind of its own and flies off into the Forbidden Forest. So I was like, I was thinking of like a little like fan fiction in my head of Neville's broom and the Weasley's car, like going off together into the Forbidden Forest, like flying together, like having like their own adventures. Like, I totally forgot that happened. So I don't know. I don't know if like what you guys think of that, but I think it would be funny to think about the Weasleys flying car and Neville's broom having a mind of their own and going into the forest and having adventures together and maybe I don't know. Thanks, Trey. Snape made the Sectum Sempra to protect himself from James when they were at Hogwarts. Yeah, Snape knew a lot about the dark arts, that's for sure. My favorite part of the chapters is Hagrid. He cares so much for Harry. Yeah, that's true. Like Hagrid's hut. It's always nice to go to Hagrid's hut. And so the last. By the way, how beautiful is it at Hogwarts right now? It's gorgeous. I love that. Um, so the last chapter that we read. So chapters 10 is when Harry, Hermione, and Ron when they fight the troll. So this is them becoming best friends is where we leave off. So another question that I had. All right, Jake's Lover, thanks for joining. What's my favorite ship? Lupin and Tonks. I feel like Lupin and Tonks. But I think that Luna and Harry should have been together. I feel like Luna and Harry had the most in common out of any two characters in the whole entire series. They both know like how it feels to lose a parent. They both know how it feels to be bullied and alienated from everyone else. I thought that Luna and Harry like they had so much in common and they got along really well. I thought that Harry and Luna should have been a couple, to be honest. Luna and Neville. Yeah, that only happened in the movie. That was interesting that they put that in. That they had Neville in Deathly Hallows be like, "Oh, I'm going to tell Luna that I'm in love with her." It's like, where did that come from? I get it that they're like kind of like similar in a way, but that came out of no. Their relationship came out of nowhere in the movies. So another question that I had is when Neville gets his Remember All, I was thinking, what's the point of a Remember All? Like, so the Remember All is the ball that like red smoke comes up and if you forget something. But what's the point of it? Because if you forget something, like the only thing that you want to know is what did I forget and where is it? But the Remember All just puffs up red smoke. So like, what's the point of that? If you forget something and the Remember All just like puffs up red smoke, it's not helping you find whatever you forgot, or it's not telling you what you forgot. So it's just like I don't know what the point of it is. Yeah, there is no point. That's what I was thinking. It's just like when you forget something, the only thing you want to know is where is it and what did I forget. I don't care if I am told if I forget something. That's not going to help me find it. Oh, Hermione Granger. Someone was asking if you were here. Yeah, it should tell you what you forgot. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like the Remember All would be like if the Remember All like showed you what you forgot or where it was, like that would be cool. Like if you forgot where you put wherever, like your wallet, and it showed and the Remember All showed you your wallet and it was like underneath like a bunch of books or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's where it is. Like that would make sense, but it doesn't work like that at all. Miss Granger, what's up? Angelica, am I okay? I'm fine. Got a little bit of a sore throat, so I'm sorry if my voice is a little raspy or whatever. What career would you take in the wizarding world? Ooh, I feel like Auror would be fun. Ooh. Oh, I feel like Auror. I would like to be an Auror Dark Wizard Catcher. I feel like that'd be dope. I feel like they have like a lot of like freedom and like to just like go around and catch dark wizards. How about you guys? Auror, you'd be an Auror, pure blood. How long is the stream gonna be? Not too much because I'm that's about all my notes that I had. I hated when Fudge became the bad guy. So when do you think that Fudge became the bad guy? Do you think was there a moment for you where Fudge became the bad guy? Because he was always a bumbling fool, but like what moment in the Harry Potter series, like where did you think that Fudge became the bad guy? Oh, your friend's going to Mexico. That's cool. I'm going to Mexico soon too. If you guys enjoy the stream, make sure to toss a like. I'd really appreciate that. I think when Voldemort came back, yeah, that's true. When he ignored the fact that Voldemort came back, he really did become the bad guy. Oh, you'd like to work with dragons, Jess? That's true. Flinch was always irritating. Flinch, do you mean Filch? Fudge became the bad guy in the Order of the Phoenix for his job as minister, yeah. Oh, Ginny, thanks for liking and subbing. I love it. Joining in. Ginny is joining in. Fudge, what? Yeah. Can we get 60 likes? I don't know if we can get 60 likes. I don't know. Are there 60 people that enjoy the stream? Who knows? Who knows? Fudge became the bad guy when he hired Umbridge. Yeah. Well, I mean, technically Dumbledore hired Umbridge. Also, like, something that's interesting is like, if you were a parent at Hogwarts, and you heard about like the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in Harry's first year, Voldemort was on the back of his head. In their second year, it was Lockhart, who was a complete fraud, and he tried to wipe away like a student's memories. And then in third year was Lupin, who was a werewolf. And then in their fourth year, it was Barty Crouch Jr. disguised as Moody, who's a Death Eater. Like, if you're a parent sending your kids to Hogwarts, are you not being like, what is the hiring process for who's taking care of my children? Like it's unbelievable how many dangerous people were teaching these little kids, and the parents were never questioning it. Like Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are like, yeah, we'll send my kids there every year. Like Death Eaters teaching them, like they could be killed, like whatever. Like no. So that's why I thought that Umbridge. It was funny that when Umbridge began examining all the professors in Order of the Phoenix, when she went into the other professors' classes and was like examining how the professors worked and everything, I thought it was interesting because I was like, there should be someone doing that. The way that Umbridge was doing it was like in an evil way for sure. But if I was a parent, I'd be like, yes, I want someone to be examining like these teachers and like why they're supposed to work here, like, you know. So that made sense in a way that the professor should be examined. But Baby Anthony's World, what's up? I don't think she has the qualifications, yeah. And that's another. So I've always questioned this about Order of the Phoenix. So Umbridge comes in, and her whole goal is to stop teaching magic because she thinks that Dumbledore is going to raise an army with the students of Hogwarts. So she's saying that she's trying to stop magic in Defense Against the Dark Arts because she doesn't want the students to rise against the Ministry of Magic. But I didn't think that made any sense, because in every Defense Against the Dark Arts class, the students are learning to defend themselves against magical creatures such as Bogarts or Pixies or Grindylows. There's not one Defense Against the Dark Arts class that's about dueling, that's about like fighting other wizards or fighting other witches. So Umbridge coming in and stopping teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts, that her reasoning doesn't make any sense to me, because the classes are never about fighting other wizards. They're just learning how to defend themselves against other magical creatures. So I don't. Do you know what I mean by that? What's the most interesting Harry Potter creature to you? Ooh, I like a sphinx for sure, but phoenixes. I feel like phoenixes are really powerfully magical, and they've got a lot of cool abilities like healing, and they can carry extremely large loads. I like phoenixes for sure. All right, everyone. That's all I had on chapters 6 through 10 for Philosopher's Stone. If anyone in the chat, does anyone else have anything for chapters 6 through 10? Also in the chat, is there anyone who's reading Philosopher's Stone right now? Who's actually reading the books? Buckbeak, you like dragons, hippogriffs? Favorite class? Defense Against the Dark Arts for sure. Who else? Is there anyone? Oh, Lulu, you're reading them? Baby Anthony's World, you're reading them? There we go. I love it. So, oh, Piggy's finished? Yeah, Hermione. I've read him. I've read him a bunch too, but I gotta say I'm having a fun time. I'm having a fun time reading like 5 chapters per week because you can really dive into those 5 chapters and like think of like things that you never noticed before. So, are you guys enjoying this book club? Like, are you guys enjoying like doing 5 chapters a week and then discussing them at the end of the week? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you're enjoying the book club. Autumn. Dre, you love it? Autumn, yes. Baby Anthony's World, yes. Hermione, yes. Shrey, yes. You think Umbridge only wants students to be skilled in wizardry? Yeah. Yeah. Amura, I think that's... I suggest they should be on Saturdays. So I couldn't do it on Saturday. So every week it's going to be either Saturday or Sunday. But it didn't work out for me this week to do it on Saturday. I'm sorry about that. Oh, Chicken, you love it? Can we talk about... So we talked about chapters 1 through 6 last week. So this week, the reading is going to be on chapters 11 through 16 of Philosopher's Stone. So this week, read chapters 11 through 16 of Philosopher's Stone. And then either on Saturday or Sunday, we're going to have a live stream discussion about those chapters. You're enjoying it, Angelica? Oh, good. Ginny, it's amazing. Oh, Jennifer, you enjoyed too? Okay, good. Because I want to do things on. I want to make sure that I'm doing things on this channel that you guys enjoy. So it's nice to hear that you guys are liking this. So we'll keep doing it. Thanks for your show. Appreciate all the Party Pete. Yeah, Party Pete. I'm glad you're a fan. I'm glad you liked it. There we go. Welcome. We're gonna be doing this every week. And Party Pete, we also have a house cup that we do every week, where every week I put out a poll question on my channel and a video trivia question about Harry Potter. And if you answer both of those questions correctly, then you get your house 10 points for that week. And at the end of every month, I add up all the points for each house, and whichever house has the most points wins that month's house cup. So, for example, Ravenclaw won January and February, and now Hufflepuff is winning March's House Cup right now. So Hufflepuff's killing it in the House Cup. So if you want to join in on that too, I put out questions every week. Jess, you should start posting Harry Potter videos. Yeah, I'm about to add up who won the House Cup after this right now. How do you know your house? All right. So Perrin, you get to pick your house. So in the comment section of the video or the poll, you just put your answer and what house you're in. So you get to choose. So so you're like whatever the answer is, and then Hufflepuff or Slytherin or Ravenclaw or whatever. Could we do it this time every week? Shrey, your bedtime's 8 p.m. Slay Hufflepuff. My mom thought McGonagall was Umbridge. Yeah, McGonagall and Umbridge is a rivalry as old as time. What chapter is your favorite in Philosopher's Stone? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me look at the chapters right now. Okay, so we got The Boy Who Lived, The Vanishing Glass, Letters from No One, The Sorting Hat, Midnight Duel, Halloween. Well, our next chapter is Quidditch. So I think the next chapter that we're going to be reading is Harry's first Quidditch match. So some of my favorite parts of the books are the Quidditch matches. I absolutely love them. So I'd say maybe my favorite chapter is Quidditch, because I really like the Quidditch parts of the books. Hi, Mr. Ruby Malfoy. Chapter 5 is your favorite, Baby Anthony's World? What's chapter 5? Oh, Diagon Alley? Yeah, that is true. Diagon Alley, that's tough to beat, for sure. Where can you answer? So, Angelica, every Monday, Monday or Tuesday, I put out a poll, and so it'll be on my community tab. If you go to my profile and click on community, you can see all my polls, and I think you get notified regardless of it. But every Monday or Tuesday, I put out a poll trivia question, and then on Thursday, I put out a video trivia question. And if you answer correctly to both of those, then you win your house 10 points. And then at the end of the week, I add up all the points. I say who got both questions right, and then I put up the standings, the house standings, at the end of every week. And then at the end of the month, I add up all the points for that month, and whoever wins that month's house cup. Should I give Piggy cheese? Yeah, sure. Potter, come with me. Who's won the house cup this week? So I haven't added it up. I'm gonna add it up. I'm gonna add up who won the house cup this week after this stream. Slytherin for sure. House elves. Cool. Gryffindor. Yeah, Gryffindor. Yeah, you get Hufflepuff's. Hufflepuff's been killing it this month because Ravenclaw's been destroying everyone, but Hufflepuff this month, I think they've won every week this month. So we'll see if you don't want the stream to end. I'm glad you're enjoying it. The questions are pretty hard. Well, yeah. So Baby Anthony's World. Yeah. So I feel like I purposely like make them hard because I feel like Harry Potter trivia questions, like I feel like they're easy a lot of the times, and if I don't make them hard, then it's not as fun, you know. If I make the questions too easy, then everyone can answer it, and I like to make them hard, and I like to make it because I think it makes it more fun. Do you think should I make the questions easier? Should I do basic Harry Potter trivia questions? Let me know in the chat if I should make the questions easier. My thoughts on Regulus Black is that he's cool. I like it. Oh, make it harder? Medium? No, keep the same. What is Albus's full name? Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Did I get it right? Did I get all the names in there? Some easy, some hard. Yeah, I try to mix it up. Like if there's one question I put out during the week that's like really hard, then I'll try to make the second one a little easier. Yeah, Regulus is awesome. You like the hard questions? Okay. So it seems like people like the hard questions. Yeah, Albus Wolf. Yeah, I think I got all the names there. Ooh, we're almost at 60 likes. Hold up, drive. There's an imposter among us. Who's the imposter? Is it a Death Eater? Someone have Polyjuice Potion in this chat? Do medium, hard. But what'd you finish yesterday, Nola? Oh, you're a Hufflepuff. I like your Hufflepuff profile pic, by the way. What's an Animagus? An Animagus is a witch or wizard that can turn into an animal at will. So, for example, Professor McGonagall can turn into a cat. Sirius can turn into a dog. Peter Pettigrew can turn into a rat. So it's when a witch or wizard can turn into an animal. Oh, you're the imposter, Autumn? Oh, are you a Death Eater? You only have 1, 3, 4, and 5? Well, you can read the books online, too. On websites. Thank you so much for doing this. It's so fun. I'm glad you're having fun, Trey. Who on earth named Dumbledore? Yeah, Dumbledore has a crazy name. 58 likes. We're almost at 60. 2 more likes and we're at 60. That's pretty unbelievable. I'm on the Half-Blood Prince for the 3rd time. What part of the Half-Blood Prince are you at right now? 59. We're almost to 60. We're at 59. Who's gonna be the next like? Who's gonna get it to 60? Who's gonna put us over the top? My favorite spell is Expecto Patronum. We did it, we bashed them, we potted. Now Voldy's gone moldy, and now let's all have some fun. Boom, boom, boom. Now Voldy's gone moldy. 62! 62 likes! 62! We're heating up! We're heating up! We're at 62! 63! Oh my god! The crowd's going crazy! 63 likes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, 61. We lost 2. We lost 2 likes. You read them 50 times? Accio is your favorite. Crucio and Expecto Patronum. Wow, Crucio and Expecto Patronum are 2 opposite ends of the spectrum right there. That's a question you could ask fans. What's the difference between an animagus and a werewolf? So an animagus, a werewolf has no choice to transform, but an animagus transforms at will. So whenever Sirius wants to turn into a dog, he can do that. But Lupin can't. Lupin can't help but turn into a werewolf at every full moon. He doesn't have a choice. That's the. Congratulations. Is that to me or to someone in the chat? Yeah, Rita can turn into a beetle. You have 5 subs. I like. Who's your favorite Slytherin? Mine's Andromeda or Narcissa. Yeah, I like Andromeda. But to be honest, I like Bellatrix. I think Bellatrix is my favorite Slytherin. She's such a cool character. I'd love a show about Bellatrix. What's your fave channel? My favorite channel? Ooh. I really like Bad Medicine. They do reactions to like movies and TV shows. And they did Harry Potter reactions. Bad Medicine. I like them a lot. They're really great. Also, Blind Wave is another great channel. 64 likes. Thank you, everyone. All right. So I think I'm going to end the stream there. So this week we're going to be readings. We're going to be reading chapters 11 to 16 of Philosopher's Stone. So this week read chapters 11 through 16 of Philosopher's Stone, and then either on Saturday or Sunday we'll do another stream discussing our favorite parts, some foreshadowing moments, details we didn't notice before, and just anything cool, anything that pops out to you in those chapters. Bring them to the live stream and we'll talk about them, and we'll all have a fun time talking about Harry Potter. Bye, babies, Anthony. Bye, babies, Anthony World. Angelica. Ruby. Jorquat, check your email. I will. I saw that you sent me an email. I'll check that today. Bye, Angelica. Bye, Shrey. Bye, Jess. Do you think Snape wanted to get out of Dumbledore's will and power, and Dumbledore partially forced him? That's true. Goodbye, Lulu. Goodbye, Jenny. Bye, Jorquat. Bye, Chicken Whisperer. Thanks for joining. Angelica. Bye, Jennifer. Thanks for joining in. Hope you guys had fun. Bye, Kevin. See you tomorrow for the game stream. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be streaming Hogwarts Legacy tomorrow. Bye, Jenny. Thanks for liking. Thanks for joining. Chapters 11 through 16 this week, and we'll have our live stream. Do you have a favorite Harry Potter fan fiction? I've written a few. I've written a few fan fictions. I like Dumbledore, Dumbledore and Grindelwald summer together, like as teenagers. Like I like writing fan fictions about that, like their time falling in love together. See you tomorrow, Jess. Shrey, I'm glad you had a great time. Glad you had fun. Angelica, bye. Weasley twins, hi. The Weasley twins showing up late. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. I will see book club next Saturday or Sunday at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on chapters 11 through 16 of Philosopher's Stone. Love you guys all. Thanks for joining.